What's up, pickleballers? It's Jacob with All Drive No Drop, and I'm here to talk about the Spartus Apollo. I've been waiting for this one for a while, and I know a lot of people have been waiting for this one for a while. I've seen the hype in the Discord. I've seen people asking when it's going to drop on Facebook, on Reddit. So I'm happy to bring you this review because I've really enjoyed this paddle at the 130 price point, and it comes down to 117 with code All Drive No Drop. This value is insane for a 100% DuPont Kevlar paddle, and it's also the first wide body Kevlar paddle, so that's pretty cool to be first to market with that. It is a thermoform unibody constructed with perimeter edge foam. Let's jump into the specs and get my thoughts on the gameplay because I'm excited to just tell you how it performed on the court. And also, if you stick around to the end, I do have a Apollo giveaway, so someone could take this home if you enter that. So let's jump into the specs. All right, let's break down those specs. It's a wide body shape, which comes in at 15.9 inches in length and 8.0 to 8.1 inches in the width. Has a little bit of a taper. The facing is the 100% DuPont Kevlar, and then we have an average weight of 8.1 ounces, 5.3 inch handle length. You can grip up to 5.5 inches, grip circumference of 4.125, average swing weight of 108, average twist weight of 7.45. I think you have room to do some things with the weight, adding weight on this paddle, and we'll get into that later. We'll jump into a quick comparison, talk about some more specs on here. So let's jump into the power and pop numbers. The power I get by doing 10 serves, taking the average speed. The pop, I get the numbers by doing 10 punches, getting the average speed for those. So for the power, 52.8 miles per hour compared to the Ruby, I got 53.8, and the Mach 2 Forza 51.4. So slots in between those two, pretty good power. I'll talk more about in the gameplay how that fits into actual performance on the court, but for 108 swing weight, it is good power. And then the pop, I was pretty impressed because I mean, really only have played with the Ruby for 100% Kevlar face, and the Ruby's pretty soft for the punches. So I was happy with the 35.7 miles per hour of the punch, and that did play true on the court. It was definitely a lot poppier than the Ruby, and the Mach 2 Forza 16 millimeter. So let's get into the next one real quick. You have the spin numbers. So the spin came in at 2284 revolutions per minute, which is awesome. It ranks right up there with the Ruby and the Mach 2 Forza. So you're not going to have any issue with spin. You're not going to notice a difference between the spin on all three of these, so don't let that be a factor in your decision making. So let's get into how it performs on the court. I'll let you know my thoughts after a couple weeks of testing here, and we'll see if it's the right fit for you. So let's talk about the feeling of the Apollo first, because a lot of people really want to know if it's as soft and muted feeling as the Ruby. And it is not. It is close to it, but it's not as soft and muted. So if you want a little less softness and muted feeling, then you might like the Apollo's feeling. It's a lot poppier than the Ruby, and it's a lot poppier than the Mach 2 Forza 16 millimeter, which I really enjoyed. The pop is definitely enough to get your counter punches hit as winners more often, and to get those speed ups. And it's super maneuverable with that 108 swing weight. I really enjoyed that. I was placing the ball really well with my dinks, my speed ups, my counter punches. That's my favorite part. If you like to play fast-paced dinks with the added spin that this paddle gives you, and you like to speed up, or you just love a little extra pop, that's where this paddle really excels, is when you're at the net. The power is still good enough to put the ball away. I wasn't having any issues putting the ball away. It's a little bit above average for a thermoform paddle. It's just a little bit below the Ruby's power. I did end up adding lead weight, which I'll show you in the conclusion. That helped a little bit, 3 grams at the 4 and 8 o'clock, and it didn't raise the swing weight much, just to 110. So that really helps add a little power if you're wanting that. But it's perfectly playable stock. The sweet spot is great. This thing just blocks and resets so well. It feels buttery smooth. I had no issues blocking drives. I mean, the pace you can take off this paddle without barely feeling the ball it's just amazing. Serves and drives felt great with all the spin you get. You can really crank the ball. You can put all the power you want into it and still have it be landing in. My drops felt great. I felt that the control this paddle has with the very forgiving sweet spot was really a big highlight for me. My drops, and my top spin dinks felt really great. The handle at 5.3 inches is great. You can wrap it up to 5.5 inches. I had no problem putting 2 hands on this paddle for my 2-handed backhand dinks, my 2-handed drives. Felt fine there. So this paddle really excels at getting you to the net and then letting you take over with that low swing weight and that high stability that it brings with a very forgiving sweet spot. What else do we want to talk about? We'll jump into the conclusion whether I recommend this paddle and give you my final thoughts. So who is the Spartus Apollo for? The Spartus Apollo is for someone that loves elite spin. They want a little bit more pop than they're getting from a Ruby or a Mach 2 Forza. They want a extra wide sweet spot. They want a super stable paddle that's just going to feel great blocking drives and resetting. They want something that they can control, but can still be a little aggressive with that low swing weight. If you like firefights, then you're definitely going to love this paddle. And you also like a great price, because at $117 after the code all drive no drop, it's just a great deal. In a market flooded with paddles that are over 150, 200, this is a great deal. Spartus has been bringing high quality products for a great price for a while now, and I appreciate that, because at the end of the day, these paddles cost a ton of money and most of the paddles don't last forever. So at the end of the day, I give this paddle my recommendation. It's very fun, very solid paddle, and if you really want a power paddle, it's not going to be it. But if you want a great all-court paddle and you can still add weight, make it a little bit more powerful, and you really like hands paddles, you want that extra pop without it being hard to control, this is a great wide body paddle for you. I think this thing is going to make a lot of people's games better. And that's all I have to say on the Spartus Apollo. Feel free to drop a comment if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. If you have any more about the Spartus Apollo or anything else, like this video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to stay tuned for all my future videos. And if you want to enter the contest, check out the instructions on the screen and you could win yourself an Apollo.